Gaming here, and today I want to talk about Avatar: The Last Airbender and its fucking sequel, The Legend of Korra. Spoiler alert, or sorry, not spoiler alert, warning. Tons of profanity to be in here. So kids, please get the hell out of here. So recently, one guy made a video where Iroh meets sorry, not Iroh. Yeah, Iroh. Where Zuko meets Iroh in the spirit world, which was supposed to be in the Legend of Korra, but this is the one thing that most fans would want the most, but it wasn't included whatsoever. The authors or whoever designed the series Legend of Korra, they didn't give a fuck about what the viewers actually wanted. They just included the superficial things like the bullshit lore. So I'm not gonna watch the video. If you guys want to, you can go check out No Stress's channel. Tons of Avatar and other amazing content. Sure you guys will like it. So let's go and let's search and find the first Korra supporter and see what they have to say. Okay, this guy tells the plot of Legend of Korra was fucking shit, so they would have screwed it up somehow. That is the ending where Iroh and Zuko meet. And he's absolutely right, they screwed up the whole show. Okay, Merc says, I wouldn't say she's the worst avatar. She's the exact opposite of Aang. She was pretty good. She was a pretty good avatar, and TBH. I don't know what TBH means. Don't blame my ignorance. What the bloody hell? I don't know. Yes, season 1 to 2 were pretty weak, but it did get better on season 3 to 4. She could actually take a good few hits, unlike our Aang. Okay, just want to tell you, you fucking dickhead, that no matter how many hits you take, it doesn't make you stronger. What, I can wear some invincible armor and go take all the hits as I want, then I'm not going to become some really strong person. A smart person would try not to take hits, and Aang still could take pretty good hits, pretty heavy hits, and still come and keep fighting. Korra, she just takes hits. She just, and then attacks like a rabid bull, completely drunk, with a tinge of a hangover clouding her brain. That's how she fights. She's completely positive Jinn. She has no idea how to use neutral Jinn other than the most basic of attacks that any novice bender is capable of using. She has no creativity, ingenuity, nothing whatsoever. Okay, the next argument, that Aang never had to face a dark avatar ripping the spirit out of her. I'll be covering this in another video releasing very soon. I'm gonna write down and make a list of all the points that I want to cover, but I'm gonna explain how this point about how Aang would have also got his spirit ripped out of him, that bullshit, I'm gonna explain it in another video. Because it's quite a lengthy discussion, and it would get me more views if I make it separately. So there you go, guys, another good reason. She had some good moments, like I'm the Avatar, you got to deal with it. That was one of the moments where I first started hating that little brat. But like Korasami do be cute. Oh, okay. First thing, I know you guys may hate me for it, but I don't like these lesbian or gay relationships. But just because I personally don't like it, I don't go and like hating a person for having it. But the thing is, imagine if Aang first started dating Gitara, then he started dating Toph, then he started dating Suki, then he went over to Azula, Ty Lee, May, all those other girls, and then went and finally married Sokka. What the fuck would you think? Korra is not Korra, she's Wora. She's a literally a slut by doing this. Then another bullshit theory to explain why Korra was so bad. If you guys want, you can pause the video and read it. I'm not going to explain this bullshit because he's just finding any possible hook or crook way to justify Korra. Aang and Korra are opposites. Yes, one is a calm and tactful person who uses his brain, another is a raging drunk bull, as I previously mentioned, without an inch of, how to say, intelligence behind how she attacks, or even fights, or even how she handles any of her day-to-day matters. Okay, this guy called Christian Mugisha. He tells Ishwar Tangirala, LMAO, STFU, she's the best avatar, literally faced tougher enemies than any other avatar. You speaking of ignorance, it wasn't her fault the connections were severed. No other avatar would have done better against Unavatu. He literally brought Vatu and he ripped Rava from her. Okay, first, she's the best avatar. Bullshit. I'm gonna tell why. She faced tougher enemies. Okay, let's look at her boss fights. One, Aman. Aman, he was a bloodbender who could bloodbend without the full moon. And yes, he is, if not the, one of the most powerful people in all of the Avatar world. But the thing is, he never actually fought Korra properly. When he first fought her in the finale, he completely dominated her, took her bending away. Or you could say, as Hello Future meaning theorized, that he blocked her chi channels related to those specific bendings, earth, fire, and water. And then, according to the bullshit magic plot, she magically unlocked air bending and went on to just hit him with a few air blows that literally did nothing, and then push him off the building where he crashed into the water. And then his identity was revealed to everyone, and you could see later that he was not hurt in the slightest. The only reason he fled was because there would be no point for him in staying in Republic City, and the whole public would be opposed against him. So he has no reason to stay. So he went to take his brother and go, but looked like both of them committed suicide. I don't know if they survived, but from what I've seen, they committed, well, what's that guy's name? Tarlok? Yeah, Tarlok committed suicide, killed a man. That's how happy ending should be like, right, guys? So, after that, this guy has the balls to say that Korra's villains were stronger. Let's move on to the second villain. I forgot that waterbender's name. Never mind. So, Unavatu. Unalaq, his name was Unalaq. So, Unavatu is a fusion of Vatu and Unalaq, the dark avatar. And one thing, everyone's like, oh, if Aang would have been there in Korra's place, he would have also got Vatu ripped out of him. I have two things to say against this. One, in terms of spirituality, see the difference between Aang and Korra. Korra is literally the least spiritual person in this show. And even counting in that, who is that Judy's boss? Not Judy, wait. Whoever's that crazy inventor who does all the shenanigans and has that lady that massages his feet all the time that he ended up marrying. I don't know who that idiot was, but I should say he's even more spiritual than her. She makes little to no effort to gain some spirituality or even become more spiritual, however you would put it. And just see how she treated Tenzin. Tenzin tried to teach her. Take the meditation scene, for example. She just sat down for 2 seconds. It's not working. I'm going to grab a cup of lychee juice or something like that. When she had to go into those airbender relics that were spinning and mimic the movement of the leaf, at first she just literally used to charge in, not even trying to go between. She just ran and slammed her head on the middle of the spinning wheel. It's like she literally ran into a brick wall and crashed against it and then called Tenzin a terrible teacher. That's how she behaved. And then, when her anger got the better of her, she destroyed the, 2,000-year-old relic? I don't remember how old it was. Let's move on. So, after terms of spirituality, which if she would have spent at least a bit more time, she would not have ended up that way. Next, terms of the strength of their own spirit. Now, I want to make this clear The world of Avatar The Last Airbender and the world of Legend of Korra, I'm claiming them to be two different separate worlds. They're separate, they have their own separate ways they function. Even though Korra is a sequel, it built it up itself by tearing down the roots and foundations, the very base rules of the Avatar lore and its own world. Or Avatar The Last Airbender world. Because Korra is also a fucking Avatar. So, first, Aang had the strength, the knowledge, and the experience of 1,000 other avatars and their own spirits, which are his own spirit, literally. So we could say he has one of the strongest, if not the strongest spirit in the whole of the Avatar The Last Airbender world. Second, Korra. According to that, she's a fusion between a regular, very weak human spirit and an extremely strong, though I don't know how strong they are, they're literally two carpets. Okay, according to Avatar of Korra lore, a very strong light spirit. So now the thing is, Unalaq is a dark spirit, yes, according to how they put it, it does make slight sense that he was able to pull Rava out of Korra, but I don't understand why couldn't Korra do the same to him? I mean, come on, that makes no frigging sense whatsoever. You're telling me that Vaatu is more intelligent or more knowledgeable than Rava? In that case, the whole show is a fucking piece of bullshit. Excuse me. So anyway, as I was saying, Korra, comparatively, her spirit is weaker than Aang if you just take it into the perspective that the show puts them in. The show portrays Aang as having an extremely powerful, if not the most powerful spirit, while in Legend of Korra it shows that her spirit is very weak. So let's move on. Now you see why I'm telling that taking the shows as two different entities, because here the distinction is more distinct. In Avatar The Last Airbender, in the final episode, when Aang met the lion turtle told him, while it taught him how to energy bend, it told him that to bend one's energy, one's own spirit must be unbendable. This phrase, one's own spirit must be unbendable, mark it now. And he told, if it's not, your own spirit will get destroyed or something like that. So, for all those people who tells that Vaatu ripped out or bended out Rava out of Korra, he had to manipulate her spirit, and manipulating the spirit is called also spirit bending. So, Aang, by removing Ozai's bending, proved that his own spirit was unbendable, because the lion turtle told that only if your spirit is unbendable can you remove someone else's bending through energy bending. And Aang did the very same thing, so his spirit is unbendable. Now Korra, whose spirit should be even stronger than Aang's, because it's even Aang's memory, power and everything in her, she got her spirit removed. Now you know why I'm comparing these two shows as differently, because here, at this very point, Legend of Korra completely destroyed whatever the Avatar Last Airbender set in place as a concrete rule. So, here's the reason why Korra lost her bending, because she was a piece of trash who couldn't even work on her spirituality. And no, I don't think any other avatar would have had to lose their past lives like her. Okay, then this motherfucker, here we come to him again, Christian Mugisha. He tells Seaweed, you lost me at Roku was the best avatar, LMAO. Just save us from all what I just read and admit you are a Korra hater. Now this is what so many Korra fans they do. When you provide them with concrete evidence that Korra is a fucking piece of bullshit, the show and the character, They just tell, you're a Korra hater. They don't give any proper, how to say, explanation for why they think like that, or any justification for Korra, even slightly remotely the possible, what, iota of possibility that she's even a good character or a good avatar. They don't give any proper reason. They just tell, oh, she was good, you're just a hater. That's their only way of reasoning. And he tells, and admit you're a Korra hater. Imagine calling it straightforward. You don't dictate what the story tells. Obviously, you don't dictate what the story tells, but when the story fucks up, there are obviously going to be people who try and see the possible ways to dictate it to go right. Just because it wasn't Atla. Well, it wasn't Atla, and it destroyed Atla's rules and the world building and everything else. So yes, all Avatar Last Airbender fans have reason to hate Legend of Korra just by that. You continue to compare both shows. Also, yeah, both shows are sequels, where one sequel tried to destroy the other. Well, both shows are not sequels. One is a sequel of the other, but the sequel tried to destroy its predecessor. Come on, open your mind for once. Also, Korra could bend 3 elements at the age of 3. That is motherfucking bullshit. The authors fucked up by doing that. What is the point of all the past thousands, I don't know how many thousands, or maybe it's just 1,001 or something, avatars going on their path to train, and then Korra literally gets the magic, here you go, take all the power in the universe gift. This is a clean example of bad writing and horrible whatever plot making and everything. The writers are just too lazy. Here, this is one of the biggest mistakes in the Legend of Korra, and this guy is using it as justification for why the show is so good, or why Korra is so powerful. Because your favorite avatar couldn't bend 3 elements when they're young. Well, if Aang could bend 3 elements when they're young, he would not have had to go through all the experiences, and I would not come to respect him and admire him as a character. So yes, by giving Korra these magical abilities, you literally fucked her up in the eyes of the viewers instantly, the second you introduced her to us. He chooses to run away from his role as the Avatar. Hello? You're literally, being the Avatar is somewhat like being God. Not exactly being God, but yeah, you can compare it to being God, because the whole world reveres you, the whole world respects you and looks up to you. And as a young kid who has lived a very peaceful and solitary life, would you suddenly want a burden that would isolate you from everyone you know around you, that will alienate you from everyone who you know and love, which will completely change your destiny, your future life, and you have no control whatsoever over it? And you have a tremendous responsibility towards the whole world, and you're only 12 fucking years old. Come on, what if I'll go and tell a 12-year-old to become the president of some country or something? At first, he may think, oh yeah, so much power. But then when he gets into the job and realizes how much it sucks, and how much he has to do, the responsibility he bears on his back, the burden he has to carry, that is the point at which he finally starts to, crack. Finally starts to lose it, and then he starts to hate it, and he wishes to go back to his regular life. This is what almost any regular person would do, other than the select few, who should I say, freaks, not in a bad way, but they would be perfectly suited for that. But even they will be under great pressure. And he ran away from it because it alienated him. He was literally, other than Monk Gyatso, everyone else became like a total stranger to him. His life was ruined in that one moment where he was pronounced as the Avatar. And Korra, that little bitch, the second those people come, she's like, I'm the Avatar, you got to deal with it. She's so arrogant. She just, takes being the Avatar. She doesn't consider it as being a gift or something, something that's sacred. She takes it as it's just her power, and she's She doesn't even understand what being the avatar even means, that she's supposed to keep balance when she's the worst diplomat I've ever seen. She's the worst, what you call. As a character, she's completely horrible. You can see how she treats Tenzin when Tenzin tries his best to teach her. How she's like, I'm the avatar, so I get all these perks. You all are nothing in front of me. You have to listen to whatever I say. She's so arrogant, demeaning. She's a literal narcissist, if I dare go so far as to say a psychopath, but I wouldn't classify her as such. And how are you going to call Aang's masters overheard for seeing a war coming and trying to save it by telling Aang early? They didn't exactly tell, or didn't even clearly tell Aang that the war was coming. Aang had no frigging idea. He didn't know that by running, he's literally giving up on all the people, because as of time it was a very peaceful era, at least for the airbenders. And hello, we're talking about a 12-year-old kid. I wonder, any of you parents out here who might remotely have the possibility of watching this, would you like your 12-year-old kid to go all of a sudden out of his regular life to go train to become some really powerful person, but at the same time he'll have to separate from everyone he knows? He has to literally take up the responsibility of one of the most burdened adults, you could say, ever. Would you want your son to go through that? And at a time when he's not actually required, when you or him have never been told that he's actually required. Korra was a great show. That's garbage. It was trash. And just because it didn't have one villain doesn't mean it wasn't organized. What do you mean because it doesn't have one villain? Is this guy writing this freaking insane? It had what? Okay, I'm not gonna bother counting. Wait. Aman, Unalak, counting Unalak as one entity. Then the Red Lotus, I'm not gonna count 4 or 5 people there, 4 I think. Gazan, Zahir, then that Ming lady, that waterbender, and that other advanced Sparky Boom man girl. Sorry, Sparky Boom girl. Yeah, I think that's it of their team. And then finally Kuvira. So what? 4, 5, 6, 7 villains. Or 6, yeah, 6 villains. Depends on how you count Unalak or Unavatu. So, again, this guy is an idiot. Legend of Korra had better teams. Again, what better teams? Please tell me. Then Atla, and had great ideas. Ideas on a whole were good. Some of them, a select few. But they were developed so horribly you cannot even consider a show good just because its ideas are good. You can have a person have the greatest ideas in the world, but if it's not implemented properly, it's still fucking trash. Korra faced tougher enemies and had little help from her past lives, unlike Aang, who literally had Roku come up to him and save him multiple times. Well, how many times did Roku save Aang? I seem to remember only once where he took over Aang's body and firebended to save him in the temple in that Crescent Island. Other than that, I don't remember seeing. Oh no, sorry, not Susan. Flick me, why I'm tailing Susan. I don't remember seeing Roku ever saving Aang. So, if you think he saved Aang more than once, please make a video and tell me about it, or just comment and tell me. And thing is, why Korra doesn't have much help from her past lives? Maybe because she's a fucking terrible learner. Just see how she treats Tenzin, who's trying his best to teach her, and you think she'll learn anything from anyone at any point in time in her life itself? She's a terrible learner, and no matter how good a teacher is, he cannot teach a person who's actively trying not to learn. Roku made a big mistake, but he paid dearly for it. He paid with his own life, with his mistake. He paid he paid with his blood. He paid with his mental sanity for his mistake. Okay, he paid the price. He got the punishment for his mistake. So, with all that suffering, think you can safely say that you can erase at least partially the mistake from Roku's record. Kyoshi and Korra did more than other avatars. Well, we only know that Kyoshi, she didn't even stop the war. She just separated herself from all this conflict. And one thing, if you're going to have a capital city passing, say, with the Earth King, it means that at one point in time the Earth King conquered the whole of the Earth Kingdom. Otherwise, how can you be the Earth King? So, having a conqueror like that isn't bad as long as he doesn't mistreat people. Because wars and everything inevitably happen. You're not going to have a peaceful nation that is peaceful indefinitely. And Kyoshi, how did she do more than any other avatar? She killed one person, or not exactly, she didn't kill, because that guy, if you're an idiot to stand almost naked on a cliff and then just scream, you're mental enough to get killed by the world. If the world doesn't kill you, Avatar will. Good luck. So Kyoshi, she hardly did anything. She just separated her community from the conflict. And Korra, she wiped out all the her previous lives, their avatar spirits. So if there is a future avatar, they're gonna have a hell of a fucking time without any of their past lives to guide them. Korra, we'll bring this topic back later. Let me sit down, and then why I was pacing. So that's why you may hear my voice increase or decrease in loudness, because I have to explain this on my tab and have to keep it very near my face. I can't read at this distance. So that's why after talking I take a pause to read and then again give my hashtag commentary. You're probably the type that hasn't even watched the show. There were so many great things in Korra. The villains were trash. And I think all of us watched the show already. Otherwise, we would not be here talking with you. Korra's arc. I don't see any arc. She's literally the same from the start till the end, only she has unlocked airbending. And everyone treats her like a bigger piece of shit than she actually is. I'm not sure about that. The humor, I don't know. There's only one actually funny moment when Bolin stuffed a sock in that anarchist Zahir's mouth. That was the only funny moment for me. The other funny moment was when Korra literally slammed her head on that spinning airbender relic without even looking at where she was going. Those two. Old characters coming back. Well, here the show is depending on Avatar: Last Airbender. And even in the part where the old characters came back, only Toph's part was done well, and then she just disappeared. And Zuko, just because they didn't have Zuko Rini's idol, I'm gonna give a sin on this part what the writers made. This is like one of the things that the viewers would want most to see. Except the part where that bitch Ikki, she interrupted Jinora and Kitara when Jinora asked Kitara what happened to Zuko's mom. It's something that almost everyone, I can guarantee, wanted to hear, wanted to know about, wanted to see. That little rascal, please kill Ikki for me, guys. So you're doing me a favor. And doing almost everyone else a favor. He just interrupted. Okay, I lost myself. Let me just reread that for a moment. Okay, these old characters coming back, that was only Toph was done good. Other things, it's like so easy for them to do. They don't have to put that much thought into it because the old show already invokes in you so much emotion, memories, and everything. You can literally write that part all by yourself. The first time you watch the show, you can do it right then. Airbender is being restored by Korra. First of all, fuck the portals, fuck the spirit portals to the moon. Second of all, she didn't bring them back. That was just magic plot bullshit by the um, what you call screenwriters or whoever you call those people. All the how to say impact of the 100 Years War, fuck it. All the impact of Korra being poisoned, fuck it. All the impact of Korra losing her bending, fuck it. All the impact, any consequence of any action, it's not taken into consideration. Whatever in Legend of Korra, and that's another reason why the show is so terrible. So bringing back the Airbenders, this is a scar that the world would have to live in reminder of the mistakes done by Sozen, Roku, and everyone else of the Fire Nation, those leaders till Ozai who followed. Instead, it's just magically brought back. She didn't do anything. She just kept the spirit portals open, which did not even exist in the first place. And okay, she brought back the Airbenders, but the culture is literally destroyed. The airbender nomads would be horrified to see what airbending has become. Progression of metal benders. Well, Korra didn't do anything for the metal benders to help it progress, so I don't know why the hell this guy brought it up. And creation of a metal city, she didn't do a fucking shit about that. The show was meant for kids that actually watched Avatar Last Airbender. Well, it's meant for kids who actually watched Avatar Last Airbender and enjoyed having Avatar Last Airbender destroyed by Korra. Don't be mad that a female is stronger than your favorite avatar. Fuck you, fucking feminist. Go fuck yourself and die. This is a clear feminist here. Korra, she was literally a drunk. Well, I've mentioned everything else before. Now I'm not going to twist my tongue. She's just a horrible person, a horrible avatar, just horrible throughout. And this feminist is going to say that just because she's a woman doesn't mean you have to hate her. My God. What? Kitara, she was a much better character than Aang. Sorry, not Aang. Frick me. She's a much better character than Korra. And the thing is, the writers, I think, they thought that, oh, Kitara did very well as a strong feminine character, so let's make an even more feminine character, but pump her up full of teenage hormones, drugs, and rabies, let her on the loose as a new avatar. Is that idiot? Didn't Aang die Azula in the Avatar state? What does that even frigging mean? And Katara had to save him, LMAO. How many times did Aang have from Roku, Toph, Zuko, Katara, Iroh? Well, technically all of Aang's boss battles, he fought them all by himself and won them or lost them by himself. Korra always had Jinora or someone to come and as who was that? I forgot. Lily or someone to magically save her out of the blue. She faced tougher enemies and defeated them all. Well, she didn't defeat Aman. She didn't defeat Zahir. She didn't defeat what's his name? Unalaq. She didn't defeat any of the Red Lotus. And while fighting head-on against Kuvira, she lost. But when you know that an avatar with avatar state gets a huge boost in the strength of their bending abilities, so the thing is, you cannot head-on fight an avatar. That's just plain common sense, unless you're a firebender enhanced by Sozin's Comet, or a combustion bender with such powerful abilities. You cannot fight an avatar with the avatar state running head-on, because it gives a huge boost in raw power. So, when Kuvira was trapped inside that metal robot, with other powerful benders surrounding her, and Korra is the only exit for her, she has no choice but to fight Korra head-on, and any bender, except those few, okay, forgot what I want to say. Okay, those few exceptions that I've mentioned earlier, other than those few exceptions, no one can fight an avatar head-on, so obviously she won. It's like having a regular person who has mastered elements who cannot use any of the nuances, any of the tricks they know in bending. They cannot use any strategy because Korra just comes head on and then blasts them with Avatar State enhanced bending. She has nowhere to move. It's a wonder she even fought against Korra as much as she did. And the thing is, Korra, even though she doesn't use her Avatar states that often, if you were to pay attention, her Avatar state hardly even enhances her strength. It's like her Avatar state is subtly running in the background all the time. Otherwise, you can just say her Avatar state is useless. She's better at bending three elements than Aang. Well, even I can now just make Aang and tell, here Aang, take, you have all the abilities in the universe, you can create the universe, destroy it as you see fit. See, Korra is trash, Aang can do anything because I give him the ability to do anything magically. He doesn't have to work for it. Everything gets handed to him on a silver platter, so he's the strongest and the best. Well, even if you give Korra all the skills in the world and power, magically, I'm not gonna give a fucking shit about her because she didn't earn them. And again, this fucking feminist is bringing up the fact and physically fight better. Well, look at The Rock, and The Rock got kicked by Toph. And why? Because who was the better bender? Raw power doesn't mean usually greater strength. The fact that she's female and can do all that bothers you. Sorry, you motherfucking feminist, go fuck off. Okay, let me just check in the inbox what I got. Okay, one upload from Enderar and Marty, who's complaining about not having the right weapons for cat spam. I can relate. I had to waste lots of gems. Okay, not lots, but certain amount on upgrading the poison darts. But anyway, off topic. Let's continue, shall we? Korra was poisoned the whole time while fighting Zahir. And why? Because she was frigging useless. Another thing, she had her chance to fight Zahir, she didn't use it. So obviously, it's a wonder she's not killed already. I mean, seriously. They could just kill her. They could just, or at least when they catch her, they can start to kill her. The Avatar state would naturally kick in, no matter how they tried to kill her. And no matter how fast they did, because even if they were to mortally injure her, such that she would die soon, the Avatar state would kick in to at least try and save her, and her spirit would still be able to survive for a short time, and then she would get killed. She never got a 1v1 with him. She got a 1v1 with him so many frigging times. Another thing, if she's so weak that 6 people can easily capture her when she's a fully trained and fully grown avatar who has already mastered, according to her, all the elements and unlocked the avatar state at will, which Aang never had until the finale, then if she still cannot defeat 6, I should say very powerful benders, but if she still cannot defeat them, then she's trash. She's fucking trash. Korra is not Aang. Atla is the best series ever made. That's why you can't like Korra. Nothing can compare to it. Well, that's true, but Korra fucked up so badly. It's so horrible. In my opinion, mind you, the 2 best kid shows ever made were Avatar Last Airbender, and Avatar Last Airbender can also be a show for adults. It doesn't only have to be for kids. And the other show, the other best one in my opinion, Gravity Falls. I should say Gravity Falls, it's more enjoyed by younger audiences, but even when you grow older and watch it, it still has many fun moments. Okay, Avatar 1 was strong enough to create the first cycle. Again, Avatar 1 is another fucking piece of bullshit who got all powers magically. And Korra was strong enough to create a new one, a new era. She created a new era. You're fucking kidding me? Just because she's the avatar, she gets all the credit. If anything, the credit should go to Genora. I'm just reading through this. She grew up sheltered. Well, that was just a bullshit plot that never got ever explained. Until the part of the Red Lotus, the only reason that you could see why they sheltered her was because they didn't like want her to go on the journey because they thought they could provide her with all the teachings right there itself, and because the Avatar was such a big deal. And it seems, I think for most of you with common sense out there, you would feel it like me that that the idea of her being trapped there, not exactly trapped, but like confined there, came to the writer's mind only when they just started directing the third season. Yeah, I think it's the third season. Gee, I haven't watched the show in a while. I think it was 2 months back, or maybe a month back. My memory is horrible at this point. I remember almost everything from Avatar last year because I enjoyed it. But Korra, after what, 5 times watching it, I literally stopped paying attention to it. And this guy, he just explained the natural progression of civilization, and he's giving that to explain why Korra wasn't so horrible. But please, just go make a montage of all of Korra's dialogues, and you'll understand why she's such a horrible person. And I know that will be an extremely long and difficult task for you to make a montage of all of her dialogues, but because of this, I'm hoping that you will learn exactly why we hate Korra. Because apparently, just simply watching the show isn't good enough. And another thing, you cannot compare Avatar Last Airbender to Legend of Korra because the thing is, harmonic convergence has no place in Avatar Last Airbender's world. I just term it as Atla. Spirit portals have no connection with Atla. Then dark spirits, all that things has no connection with Atla. If there are any gods, they're the lion turtles in Atla. So please do not bring up this bullshit of harmonic convergence and everything with relation to Avatar The Last Airbender. Because your show that you love so much, mister, that show is actively destroying Avatar The Last Airbender. So please don't bring it up. It has no connection whatsoever. And if you will just remove the connection, then you just remove the connection between Legend of Korra and Avatar The Last Airbender completely, because the latter is destroying the former, then Legend of Korra will become even more of a shit show. Okay, I don't get what this guy says. Even with the consequences of Zahir, conveniently left out the parallel of what leaving the portals meant open. A new air nation was formed. I never think there was an old one to begin with. Mind me, because when this whole airbenders that came out of nowhere, that doesn't make any sense. You should not even exist in the first place. If you attribute bad plot writing to another reason why Korra did so much, or why Legend of Korra, the movie itself, was so good, then you're a fucking idiot. Wait, and this guy's just telling. Also, she didn't sever shit. Unawatu did. Korra had to fight, I don't know what is that word. Dark Avatar, LMAO, this ain't Ozai, Aang wouldn't have stood a chance. I just explained that because Aang's spirit was unbendable and he spent a lot more time in spirituality, which Korra completely neglected due to her stupidity, even though she clearly knew that she had to work on it. So Korra ended up losing her spirit, and if Aang was in her place, if we were to compare the two series, then Aang, as his spirit was unbendable, would not have had this happen to him. Matter over. So fuck up. Just fuck yourself up, mister, for keep bringing up points that is so easily refutable with solid proof. By the way, I can't see any proof to what you're saying. Yeah, damn it. Let me just go back there. Okay. You're telling me Aang wouldn't have given himself up to save the Air Nation, okay, LMAO? Not to mention, before she got captured, she fighting in chains. Korra never fought him off once. 1v1 versus one v one as she was healthy. And if he was poisoned like Korra, he would have died easily. Well, no. Aang would have activated the Avatar state, kicked the Red Lotus's ass, and then collapsed. Not the opposite way around. Either you didn't watch the show or just a biased hater. Do you have any other argument, Mr. Christian Mugisha, other than you're a biased hater and your views are your opinions are so terrible when you can't even give any fucking proof to what you say? If Aang would have activated the Avatar state, he would have easily crushed the Red Lotus. With just one bending move, if he was at Korra's age, he would have crushed them instantaneously. But no. Aang is not Korra, Korra is not Aang. Korra is a fucking bitch, she is. And she just lost so badly. First of all, Aang would not have even gotten captured at that age. Then I can bet you're gonna get the argument. But Commander Zhao caught Aang. Well, look at Aang's age, look at Korra's. How long Aang had to train, and how long Korra had to. And next thing, if anyone brings up the trauma part about drinking mercury, remember this. Getting frozen in a block of ice is much more harmful to one's body, if you were to look at it scientifically, than it would be to swallow mercury. And mercury, scientifically, makes a person delusional, doesn't cause pain. If you were to survive it, it would be like like being knocked out, because you wouldn't remember shit about what happened after you were poisoned. With that high amount of mercury, it would knock you out unconscious instantly, and the only reason Korra was still fighting is because the Avatar state took over her body and it controlled Korra, not Korra controlling the Avatar state. Otherwise, if you were to tell science doesn't apply in this, okay, science doesn't apply in this, that mercury came into Korra, and then Korra, the show never tells that Korra was, aware during that. She could have just been experiencing some mental problems because of the remnant mercury. But since science doesn't apply here, why should she have any mental problems? I don't know. And got saved with luck and the biggest plot armor. Well, he got saved by a pre-plot that was already made in preparation for the second season finale, and he was killed unfairly by Azula. He had no chance to fight back whatsoever because he was still in his cosmic form. He was still visualizing his cosmic form and merging into that, as you can see. And as he was starting to regain physical awareness of his surroundings. This was a shot him chock full of lightning. And that, it's not like having Korra actually fight properly against the person and lose. It's not like when Korra was fighting, she was busy sleeping or something, or meditating, which she never actually did. And when she was captured by Aman and her crew, sorry, not Aman, freak me. When she was captured by Zahir and his crew, she had her what? She was perfectly fine. She could have easily fought them off, but no, she was too weak. And didn't have a chance against Azula. And lightning, after Last Airbender, is if it hits you, you're dead. And there's no way for Aang to dodge it. If Korra would have been in this situation, she would have been instantly killed. Same like what happened to Aang. Because unlike Legend of Korra, in After Last Airbender, lightning is a one-hit kill. If you can't redirect it, you're instantly killed. As Iroh told that if you cannot control the lightning while redirecting it, you will kill yourself. You will destroy yourself utterly. But in Legend of Korra, a man can survive a lightning bolt at Mako shot, and every frigging second firebender in the world can lightning them. Oh, and when Aang was thrown against the wall in his final fight, not the wall, against the rock pillar, and his chakras were unlocked in the take me to the moon, in the final season of After Last Airbender, the boss fight against Ozai. Well, yes, that was plot convenience, but look at this. He had one full season, one complete full season exactly to unlock his chakra. And he worked for it. He tried, there are many hints that he tries to enter the avatar state. He, went through so much and then finally unlocked it. Korra, she lost her she lost her 3 forms of bending, and 1 or 2 episodes later got it back. She didn't have air bending, and she didn't work at all to get it back, even though it was well within her power to learn airbending. Aang's chakras were, forcibly blocked. There was no way he could unlock them. The only reason it was unlocked because it was a literal acupuncture done by the rock. It was a very strong force that if anyone else would have tried on him, if it would have gone wrong, he would be crippled for life. So Korra just got everything instantly back. After getting poisoned by Mercury, within 5 episodes, not even half of the final season, she is instantly back to normal, with almost everything removed. And getting hit by lightning, I don't think is that bad as compared to getting mercury in your body when you have magic rejuvenation like Kata read it. But remember this, the trauma Aang had being frozen in an iceberg for 100 years, the trauma he had being hit by lightning, the pain he must have experienced, or what you would have experienced to that's much worse than having mercury in you and going unconscious for a long time, and then instantly within a few episodes getting it back, not even near the half of the season. So an avatar is only a good avatar if he doesn't want to be the avatar. Well, no, but just by seeing how Aang didn't want to be the avatar and how Korra saw being the avatar as a way to get personal power and to satisfy her own ego, this shows their distinction of the character clearly. And so Korra is a horrible avatar from her personality. That's it for today's video. I know this is a very, very long rant, but if anyone, this wonderful person who has made it all the way up to this point to even watch it, I want you to comment down below, I watched it, just write end END, simple word, end. And I know you watch it. I'll be very grateful for you for sticking around here and listening to my horrible voice for this long. What, 1 hour? Thank you everyone. Bye. DJ Gaming signing off. If you have any doubts or any other arguments you want me to clarify or any other points that you think I misinformed or you think that I told wrongly, please let me know in the comments. I'll be happy to explain everything to you. My Legend of Korra is a piece of fucking trash. Bye.